real thoughts, real trades, real journey. A video journal documenting the lessons learned on my journey to becoming a disciplined trader. Welcome to Trading the Journey. I'm Neil, and today I want to share a trading day that taught me one important lesson. Let's see what the market had to teach me. So today was one of my better trading days. I would have to say A+ all around. It was kind of heartbreaking when it was getting near where I was wanting to take profits, and then it just totally turned around and went the other way. It's kind of like you get to a stoplight and just maybe 2 seconds before you get there, and 2 seconds is a long time driving. 2 seconds, and the light turns red. It just goes yellow, and then red, and then you're there. That's what it felt like. So this is the chart, and my overall bias was bearish for the day. You know, it was based on daily structure. You know, if it follows the previous pattern, I mean, it's likely that we'll have a bearish day today. That was my thought this morning. And you can see on the chart, well, we did have a bearish, we ended up having a bearish day, and it's currently on a downtrend. But that's what I was reading this morning. It hadn't hit the upward support just yet, so I was just sitting and watching. You know, overnight was generally sideways until about 8:15 a.m., and then it pulled back to a previous support from the day before, and then it came back where it has to go sideways again until roughly 1:30 a.m., you know, when it went up. And then it went on a downtrend. And roughly at 4:15 a.m., it just pulled back before it grinded down again until about 8:45 on a double bottom. You know, that play would have been great to take a chance on if I was watching it. But I was probably fixing breakfast or something, so I wasn't paying attention to that. But not bad for a slow market. You know, the pre-market low and the previous day low were near each other, so I had to watch out for those key levels, especially, you know, with a double bottom in pre-market. It'll likely kind of go up before it goes back down. So it wasn't a bad move at the open, and the bears came back in and they took over, you know, most of the morning, well, within the first 20 minutes of the morning. So you can see where I went in at right here. I went short. So it gave me my setup clean and clear. It was a pretty good A+ setup in my book. It was a continuation pattern that turned into a fence. Nice continuation. Closed outside of the fence. It came back in, you know, but then the sellers came back in and pushed it back down, and then it continued down. And the only reason why I got in late here, I actually hit the sell button like about 2 seconds before the candle closed. And there was a little bit of lag. So I couldn't help that a little bit. It was just a little bit of lag. I don't know why. And that's why you're not seeing me on my normal platform, is because, well, it's experiencing problems right now. So it was just a little bit of lag, and it got me in, you know, at a little bit later price than what I like, but nothing I could do about that. I did exactly what I was supposed to. So yeah, just a little bit of slippage. You know, there was a strong bear candle. I mean, it's just both the 2-minute and 5-minute charts had strong closes on their candles. Now, I was thinking, you know, if it holds below the pre-market, it's likely to go down further. And it did. It held the pre-market really on an indecision candle. It was about right here. This is where it held. And you can see where it tested that and came down a little bit further. Now, my stop was right here on this candle, I believe. Yeah, it was right here on this candle. 2441. Yeah, it was about right there, right above this candle, and got in. When it hit my 1-to-1, which was around here, then I moved my stop to a break even because that was the rule. When it closes at or below my 1-to-1, then I can move my stop up. And then it closed past my 1.5 risk reward. So I got to move my stop up to my 1-to-1 reward and protect those profits. Not a bad trade so far. So yeah, that pre-market hold was looking pretty good at that time. And then we get to this point, and it was just so close. My 2R was kind of right around here, 29,318.25. It was right around here somewhere. It was a strange formation there. Came down and it came so close. I'm sorry, but 29,256.50 was where my target was, which was somewhere probably right around here. Because this candle almost hit my 2R. But it was this candle that stopped. Actually, this candle right here is the one that stopped me out. It stopped me out. And it was just so heartbreaking because it just came so close. You know, I was like, what the heck just happened? It wasn't as weird as what yesterday was, but it was just right there. And the bulls pushed back up. It was just, I don't know what to say. I mean, great A-plus trade, great A-plus management. I had it all going in my favor. And it just goes to show that, it could go either way. It doesn't have to give you what you want. You just have to make sure you trade your plan. You just have to make sure you have your edge, you execute, and you manage. That's the only thing you can do. If it wins, it wins. If it loses, it loses. You got thousands of more trades ahead of you. So this one trade isn't really bothering me. It was just heartbreaking to see that. And you can see the market came back up inside this area. And it decided to turn over pretty much. There's a warning sign here that it was about to turn over. And, if you'd gotten in on this candle trying to play reversal plays, that one stopped out. Another kind of reversal play a little bit. This was sort of a double top. And you can see that it did eventually just grinded down. So lots of opportunities there. I ended up closing it for the day. And it's not because I was emotional or anything, but I just didn't feel like trading anymore. I just closed it down just because I didn't feel like it. I had a great trade today, and I wanted to do other things, so I went and did other things. So not really losing anything. So thank you for joining me for today's lesson. The market is voted. Today's lesson is written. I hope something from today's trade helps you on your own journey towards becoming a more disciplined trader. If today's trade reminded you of something you've experienced yourself, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed today's journal entry, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to follow the journey. Until next time, real thoughts, real trades, real journey.